Hey guys, I'm Audrey Napoleon.
This is Castle.
I'm Kittens.
I'm Endo, and this is How to DJ.
In this episode, we're going to talk about the equipment in front of us, the CDJs, and we have a mixer.
When I go into a club, I just need a Pioneer DJM 900 mixer. There are other generations, but this is the one that I prefer.
So right here we have two Pioneer CDJ 2000 Nexuses and a Pioneer DJM 900 mixer.
So we have these two CDJs going into inputs 2 and 3 on the mixer. Like I said, these are connected by RCA cables. Now you can also connect the CDJs digitally through a SPDIF cable, which is actually just another RCA.
So on the mixer you have 4 channels. Each channel you can set to digital, CD line, USB, or phono. For channel 1 you have a phono input and you have a CD input. Channel 2 you have CD or line. Channel 3 you have CD or line. Channel 4, you have phono or CD. So if you have turntables, you can plug them into channels 1 or 4, whereas 2 and 3 are only for CDs. We need to take this little switch on the top of the mixer, and for each channel, we have to select CD line, because that's what we're plugged into. And I like to use the middle channels if I have 2 CDJs because I'm always in the middle of the mixer. We also have in the back of the mixer a record output. So if you're using a recorder, you can plug your recorder into the record output. It's a good idea to record your sets because you never know when the magic's going to happen. You could have the most amazing night, and if you don't record it, it's just a memory.
So, very basic step, let's turn them on.
Usually on everything there's a little word that says power. It's spelled P-O-W-E-R, and if you just press it, ta-da!
So in the back of the mixer, what you're going to do is you're going to plug your speakers into the master output. Now you actually have a couple different master outputs in the back. You have an XLR master output, which we're plugged into, and you also have an RCA master output. Now it's really important when you're DJing that you have your booth monitors separate from the master output.
Sometimes depending on the venue you're playing at, the master sound is going to be on a ton of different speakers that are in a room that could be giant. It's going to affect how you hear things. So if there's a speaker that's on the other side of a stadium that's blasting, there's a delay there. And by the time the music that's playing gets back to you after it's on the speaker on the other side of a football field, you're hearing it late. So if you're trying to mix into what you hear, your mix is going to be totally off.
We have an input in the mixer for the booth monitor, and that is controlled by this knob right here. So this is what a speaker that will be on your side, often 2 speakers on your side, that will be your reference point.
It's very important to have speakers, preferably on either side of you, because then you have 2 ears, so it's good to use both of them.
Master and booth are 2 very, very important and separate controls. Master, like we said earlier, controls the sound that's going out into the house, whether it's your bedroom, club, whatever. This is how loud everyone's going to hear everything that you're doing.
And then we have to turn the gain up for channels 2 and 3. I'm going to set the EQs to 12 o'clock, and we're going to get into this later. And then I'm going to turn the master channel up about halfway. And I'm going to turn the booth monitor up a little bit so I can hear myself as well.
Gain is another word for just like the overall sound, the sound volume. And each channel has its own gain, and then we have the master gain. So just like every channel has its volume that goes up and down, the gain for each channel is going to control how loud each channel can get, maximum. And then out of all of these, we have the master gain, and this is how loud everything all together is going to go out into your speakers. This is really helpful if, say, for instance, you have one song that's not that great of quality or it's a little bit more quiet. You can kind of bump your gain a little bit on that so it matches up with the volume of everything else you're playing, or vice versa. Your gain is really going to also control the lights along the edge of each channel. Basically, they go from green to yellow to red, and just like driving, we know green is good, yellow you're kind of pushing it, and red is just like very, very bad.
Public safety announcement. Hi, I'm Audrey Napoleon. Stay out of the red, guys.
It's super important not to hit red, because if you're sending a red distorted signal to the house sound, they will be pumping out a distorted signal.
One of your best friends when you're DJing is your headphones. If you don't have headphones, I really question your ability as a DJ.
There is a little plug that says phones on it. It doesn't mean a telephone, it means headphones.
These are your lifesaver. This is who's going to tell you if things sound okay or not, so you don't make a fool of yourself or embarrass anyone. These are your trusty little guys. And you have a little area over here that has everything to control your headphones. So what you're hearing in your ears. I personally like to have one ear out so I can hear my booth monitor, and then one ear in so I can hear what I'm cueing as well. So there's 3 main functions on this area that you really need to pay attention to. The most important one is the volume. This is your level for your headphones. This controls how loudly you hear things. You want to be careful because a lot of people will put it way too loud, get excited, crank it up, and blow their eardrums. So each channel, like we said, has its own EQs, its own filters, its own volume. It also has its own cue. So once we have the cue button hit, it's going to light up. And that means whatever I'm doing on whatever deck I have queued up, regardless of if the volume is up or down, I can hear what I'm doing. So say I have deck B, the volume fader is down, but I have it queued up, and I have my volume on my headphones up. Whatever I do over here, if I'm scratching, if I'm cueing, if I just want to hear what song I might play and I just want to listen to it first, I can do that and no one else can hear it.
So down in the bottom section, you have your 4 faders that control each of the channels and a crossfader.
You could use the crossfader, but I don't use that at all. I don't like that I can accidentally do this and then the song goes off.
Everybody has a different way to DJ. I prefer to just use the faders alone, and I'm actually not a crossfader kind of guy. However, if you want to use a crossfader, you could assign these differently. So if you're using channels 1 and 4, for example, and you want to use a crossfader, you want to make sure that these A-B buttons, this is set to A on 1, and 4 is set to B. So that way, you'll see here you have A and B. The crossfader is definitely good for if you're doing a lot of scratching, or if you're doing really hard cuts. If you're playing one track over here and you just really want to slam it into a different part of a beat here and then bring it back. These are all really nice tricks to do once you are comfortable with beat matching. I prefer to use the faders solely because I'm more into clean blends. Because with the fader, bringing it up, you can start kind of slow and bring the track in.
This is, all to each their own. Do whatever the hell you want. I'm not your boss.
So this is how everything's set up. The music's going to be coming through the CDJ to the RCA output of the CDJ, going into the CD line input of the mixer. I'm going to flick the switch on the mixer to CD line, make sure the gain's turned up. Like I said, my EQs are set to 0. I'm going to also turn the master volume up so we get sound in the house. I'm going to turn the booth monitor up so there's sound in my booth monitors. The crossfader, I like to put in the middle or turn completely off. And then to get sound, you're going to hit play on the CDJ and it's going to come through your volume fader, which will turn up.
For more episodes of How to DJ, subscribe to Beatport.